Chapter. Mr. Wilkinson. Is Nakisha?
Yes.
Spencer, you here?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Are you calling in or do you have video?
I'm trying to download it, so I'm calling in because I'm like that's what I'm doing on my other line. So now it says just go. I got an iPhone, so it says it's opening, but it haven't did it. Must see if it joined me in a meeting.
Okay, so yeah, once it opens, hit join meeting and start video feed. Okay.
Okay, let's see. It's connecting. But now I gotta go back because I would have to do name and email address.
That's correct. You have to register. So you still have time because you're the last one on the docket. Okay.
No, I had to write this stuff down. Like I ain't got time to be doing all that. Hold on.
That's all right. You don't have to use the video as long as you can hear and give your testimony.
Because I will have to
folks,
log out.
we can hear both of you.
Oh, sorry about that.
Just so you know.
That's the meet number and that's the password.
That was just my question. You do not have to have video mode in order to attend the meeting and for it to be acceptable.
Who am I speaking with?
This is Terrence Wilkinson from AAA Construction and Development.
I mean, if you're having technical issues with your video feed, you just want to see the evidence that building and housing
So
presented.
Liz Davis will be on momentarily, and she'll be able to answer those questions. She's the secretary that runs the meeting.
I'm speaking, Tom. I'm just a little under the weather.
She's got voice issues today, so you have to listen closely.
Oh.
Yeah, some appellants are having issue with video feed, so they're on the call. You just want to see the picture evidence that the Department of Building and Housing is presenting to the board.
Okay. That's fine. Thank you.
Okay, it looks like we have all appellants present for today's docket. Chairman, you can begin. Wait, are all my members here? See Mr. Bradley, Mr. Dink, see Mr. Gallagher. Okay, everyone's here. Mr. Gallagher, you can begin.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. You guys are on mute.
I can't sign back in. I can't get in.
You're in.
You're in. We just don't have your video feed.
Okay, I believe I'm okay at the moment. I'm off mute. So the Cleveland Board of Building and Standards and Appeals is now in session. We read the preamble. In compliance with the notification requirements of Ohio's open meeting law and section 101.021 of the codified ordinances of Cleveland, Ohio, 1976. Notice of this meeting has been publicly posted. All boards and commissions under the purview of the City Planning Department conducts its meetings according to Robert's Rules of Order. Actions during the meeting will be taken by voice vote. Abstentions from any vote due to a conflict of interest should be stated for the record prior to the taking of any vote. In order to ensure that everyone participating in the meeting has the opportunity to be heard, We ask that you use the raise hand feature before asking a question or making a comment. The raise hand feature can be found in the participants panel on the desktop and mobile version and activated by clicking the hand icon. Please wait for the chair or facilitator to recognize you and be sure to select unmute and announce yourself before you speak. When finished speaking, please lower your hand by clicking on the raise hand icon again and mute your microphone. We will be utilizing the chat feature to communicate with participants. The chat feature can be activated by clicking the chat button located on the bottom of the WebEx screen. Call-in users can unmute by using *6. All meeting activity is being recorded by way of the WebEx platform. These proceedings are also being live streamed by way of YouTube. All requests to speak on a particular matter by way of our website and email have been considered. We have also received emails from those who have provided written comment on a particular matter. Ms. Austin?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Patricia McGinty asked on behalf of the City of Cleveland, we would ask to verify it is currently being live streamed.
It is.
Thank you, Maurice. And then the city, as we do, would object to the use of the chat function under the provisions under the Ohio Supreme Court rules. Thank you.
So noted. Okay, we want to call the roll.
Mr. Maskey,
We need to unmute. Here.
Mr. Bradley,
Here.
Mr. Gallagher,
Here.
Mr. Dink.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay, so we'll call our first case, which is docket A5221, 1286 West Boulevard.
Application and fee are in order. Notice of violation is exterior maintenance. Issued on July 7th, 2021. Appeal statement received August 5th, 2021. Requesting for time to abate the violations. Present for the hearing, Tom Vanover, Building and Housing. Patricia Ashton, Law. Carl Bunches from Landmarks Commission. The appellant for docket A5221. Please state your name for the record.
Greg Rexler.
Okay. All right. Solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay. All right. Mr. Rexler, you want to go ahead and state your case here for us?
I was only given a month to do all this work, and it's a big job. It's a lot of work. I mean, I got the front of the house painted. I got like half the south side painted. It's almost all primed. I need more time.
Okay. How much more time would you like?
End of the next year would be nice. Just because you don't know, because it's been so rainy lately. I mean, you can't really. It all depends on the weather. It's all exterior, and it's been raining a lot lately.
Okay.
Like my parents are supposed to get their house painted this year, and they got pushed back because they haven't been able to work.
Okay. Do you have all the landmark issues taken care of?
Yeah. We talked to them, went through them. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let me hear from Mr. Vanover.
Well, next year is January. I mean, I still, Mr. Chairman, I'm asking, we wouldn't object to another 60 to 90 days to complete the work. But more than that, the weather's, obviously the weather's going to change. But I think going into next spring and next summer is, we would object to that. We think it can get done.
Okay.
in the wintertime though. Like you can't do
Well,
it.
it's not winter time, so.
It will be pretty soon. I mean, to do all that work in a month is insane. Even in that time frame, like it's a lot of work.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, city's position, this was issued in July.
Yeah.
So that's actually, we're going into 4 or 5 months at this point.
I know. This is where I'm at. Like it's not like I haven't been doing. I've been working on the house nonstop whenever I could, when weather permitting, like every day. I'm one man. I don't have the money.
Okay.
Well, if we're talking, we have no idea, with the weather in our area, because you can get great days even in January. I mean, it's a possibility. We can give them to, let's see, if we're looking, today's mid-October, December.
Mr. Chairman, this is Patty. Does the appellant, do you live at this property or is it
Yeah.
a rental?
No, I live there.
Okay, and this is basically exterior maintenance, so.
And I'm going to school. Like I'm trying to go back. I'm trying to get through school. Like this is crazy.
Okay. So if we're looking at, considering the circumstances here. So if I don't know if the board members have any comments on this?
Chairman, to the appellant, so I'm hearing that the notice was issued in the middle of summer. We're now in the middle of fall. What's the reasoning for not doing the painting work earlier?
I was doing the painting work. When weather was permitting, I was doing it. The house is scraped, it's primed, and the front of the house is painted. The part of the south side is painted. I'm working on the north side. It takes time. I'm one guy. That time frame is insane. Like the house needs a lot of work. It's not like I'm just scraping off a little bit. It needs a lot of work.
So we could go, Mr. Dank, you have any comments, or Mr. Bradley?
So, Mr. Chairman, other than sometime next year, I mean, the city's position is when? What is the date that the appellant is asking for?
Well, he feels, from what he has said, and from what I got out of it, is that he doesn't feel that he can do anything on the outside throughout the winter, which, so if we gave him to mid-March.
Who's to say when winter is going to end? I mean, the winter didn't end this year till like April.
Mr. Chairman, I mean, we're willing to concede some time, but the appellant hasn't hasn't requested a date, and has, we don't know when the winter's, or obviously nobody knows when the winter's going to end or when the rainy season is going to end. But Mr. Chairman, to the appellant, is your expectation sometime between now and next October? Is that what you're asking for?
I mean, that sounds good to me, but
okay, Mr. Chairman, how long have you lived in this house?
About 4 years.
Okay, so was the house Mr. Chairman, the appellant, was the house in this condition when you bought it?
No, it wasn't.
Okay, so
I've been going through school.
We're willing to be, I understand that 30 days is not, Mr. Chairman, 30 days is a tight timeline to get this done. But it's a problem that's 4 years in the making, or at least, and we're not at 30 days. Please let me finish speaking. But now we're at 6 months. So I think something realistic, If all the work is completed to where he said, where it's all scraped, it's all prime, I don't see any reason why by the end of March this can't be completed.
Okay. So the end of March would be, let's say,
April 1st,
100.
Mr. Chairman.
What's that?
April 1st.
April 1st. Okay. So we'd be talking about how many months here?
What happens if it doesn't get done? I'm just curious.
So we're looking at 4.5 months, 5 months, to April 1st. So if we say to April 1st, if for some, let's say the weather just turned real bad or you didn't get it done, I would suggest that there's a possibility you could come back as long as you just didn't abandon the project. You can come back and request more time because of the circumstances. Nobody's going to come in there and knock your house down. I can tell you that right now. I mean, it's a beautiful house. We just want to make sure that it's being worked on, it's being addressed.
It is being worked on. It's obvious.
Yeah, you're doing some things, and they're hoping to see it get finished. That's all. So we're going to give you till April 1st, 2022 to complete the violation. Is motion?
7/26.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Maskey. You have a second, Joe?
Yes, second.
Okay, second from Mr. Dank. Now call the roll, please.
Mr. Chairman, what was that date again?
The date was April 1st, 2022.
Okay, you got everything?
Yes.
Mr. Bradley,
Okay, you text me or call me? Here.
Mr. Dink,
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher.
Yes.
In the meeting, I'm on the website.
Okay. We're going to move on to
So you
the
text
next
me
case. You'll
when
be
it's
notified
over?
in 2 weeks.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right, so docket A5321, 3275 West 17th Street.
Application and fee is in order. Notice of violation is exterior maintenance. Issued June 30th, 2021. Appeal statement received July 30th, 2021. Requesting for time to abate the violations. Present for the hearing, Tom Vanover, Building and Housing. Patricia Ashton, Law. With the appellant for docket 5321. Please state your name for the record.
Deborah Ellington.
I'm looking for them up there. Okay. Okay. Solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay. Go ahead and let us know what your plans are.
Okay, the porch was completed, the work was done on the upstairs porch, and it was completed on September 24th.
Okay. Has it been inspected?
I haven't got a notice or anything.
Okay. Okay, well, let's check in with Mr. Vanover, see what he knows about this.
Good morning. Mr. Chairman, could you tell me this address again? It's, I think
Okay.
everybody's having IT issues.
I believe she said it was completed, the violations were completed September 24th.
But we weren't sure if it's been inspected or not. 3275 West Boulevard?
This one's West 17th Street.
I'm sorry.
3275 West 17th.
Okay, so it, yeah, it shows that the record is still open from, Mr. Inspector Barisic. So if the work is completed, we will object to more time to, for the appellant to contact the inspector to get a final inspection to close the violation notice. But as
Okay.
of last week, as of today, it's still not closed.
Okay. All right. So we'll give you to November 17th to take care of that, to get the inspector out and close the case out. Is there a motion?
Motion so in order.
Okay, moved by Mr. Bradley, second by Mr. Maskey. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Maskey,
Yes.
Mr. Bradley,
Huh.
Mr. Dink,
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher.
Bradley said yes, but I was unmuted.
Okay, yes. Okay, we're all set on that one. You've notified in 2 weeks. Okay, we're gonna move on to docket A5521. The A5421 is rescheduled. So A5521, 10729 Garfield Avenue.
Application and fees are in order. Notice of violation is interior and exterior maintenance. Issued May 28, 2021. Appeal statement received June 18, 2021. Requesting for 6 months to abate the violation. Present for the hearing, Tom Vanover, Building and Housing. Patricia Ashton, Law. With the appellant for docket A5521, please state your name for the record.
Terrence Wilkinson.
Okay. Solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God.
I do.
Okay. Go ahead and let us know where you're at.
Preliminarily, Mr. Chairman, this is Patty. I apologize to the appellant for interrupting. I just want to point out to the board, as I usually do, that the city has cited a smoke detector and carbon monoxide on this matter.
Okay, very good. We'd like a comment. Go ahead.
If I may, Mr. Chairman, that was corrected immediately and pictures was sent over to the city, and also the city inspector has been out and we've made repairs to the property, as well as I sent verification for purchase of all new windows, but due to supply chain issues, everything's backed up. So that in regards to safety, that was corrected immediately, and the city has verification of that, and the city inspector has been out to verify that.
Okay, what do you think you need time-wise, considering the situation?
I requested 6 months because we want to totally vinyl. We did all the repairs to prepare it for vinyl siding, but we can't vinyl side it until the windows are in. So I requested 6 months waiting until we know that we have the products. But I did send the city verification of the purchase of the windows and also the receipt so that they can see that they have been ordered.
Okay, Mr. Vanover.
Mr. Chairman, to the appellate, you will need a permit to replace the windows. So,
yes, that's not an issue.
And there's currently no permit application on record. So the windows and the siding will, they'll both need permits. Mr. Chairman, we would ask that you give a short period of time to pull the permits required. And because it looks like there's some, there's siding issues, there's window issues, but there's also, well, I guess that's about what's left. but we
Yes,
would
and
have
the
to take
reason that
it.
it was, if I may, Mr. Chairman, the reason why there was a CDC declaration, would have had this done, but there was a CDC declaration, and they were claiming COVID issues, so we could not do anything until it was unoccupied. So, and in regards to the permit is not purchased until it's ready for install prior to installation. So I wouldn't want to have a permit and not have, prior to obtaining the windows. But the city do have verification of the purchase.
Yeah, well, Mr. Chairman, I mean, I understand, we've got a receipt for the purchase of windows. I think, so I'm well aware of when the permit gets issued and once it goes through the process, which will take time for review, typically 30 days from the time you submit to the time it gets reviewed, the permit gets issued. And then the permit is valid for, then you'll have another, from that period, you'll have 12 months to pull the permit and then 6 months to complete it. So, I mean, that's plenty of time within your time frame. Mr. Chairman, I think 6 months is too much. This is a rental property. This was inspected by our rental inspection unit. This house did not get into this condition overnight or since COVID. So we think that it's not going to take 6 months for the windows to, even with the supply chain issues, for the windows to arrive. And it's not going to take, more than, of course, it's getting now into the winter months, even though this notice of violation was actually issued in May. So we think that 6 months is too much. We wouldn't object to 90 days to complete.
Well, I think if we had a handle on when them windows are coming, that would sure help the situation, because I know it's going to take a little bit to put them in, I'm sure. The board members, anyone have a comment? You're looking at the pictures.
I concur with Mr. Vanover in the city's position.
You're thinking 3 months?
Yes, I think the longer you wait, the more that material is going to be further damaged, which is just going to cause other issues.
Okay, so we'd be looking at something like a January 12th date. Any of the other board members have a comment?
If I may, yes. Mr. Chairman, the reason I requested, I wanted to make sure that we were not back before, so that we can just have verification of completion and not having, if we run into some kind of issue, we're not trying to be non-compliant. Anything that we were able to do, we completed prior to the hearing. So that was our reason for not just wanting to prolong. We want to really resolve it as soon as possible, as soon as we get the material in, to pull the permit and have it done and not have to come before the committee again.
Well, Mr. Chairman,
So
just for the point of the record, the violation notice was issued in May. The windows weren't ordered until August. Although I understand there is no, I don't understand the appellate's position of coming back before the board. The board makes a ruling under appeal that was filed timely, and that's the ruling of the board. So there is no, I mean, it's not a revolving door where there's multiple chances to come back to this board. So again, I think that, my initial statement stands. I would ask that a short period of time be granted. I don't know what the reluctance for applying for the permit is, but I would ask that a short period of time be granted to get the permit, and then no more than 3 months to complete the work. If there's an open permit, then the Residential Code of Ohio will apply to that timeline. Of course, that doesn't prohibit the city from following through with enforcement on the notice of violation, because it's still, the violation still exists, whether there's a permit in place or not. But at least we can use, as we have in the past, we'll use the permit for the purposes of, monitoring the project. My concern is everything is COVID and supply chain these days. No real answer of when it's going to happen and what's going to, when we're going to get this completed, and it didn't happen overnight. There's a responsibility when you buy investment property in the city that it maintains before the city has to show up and tell you that your property needs work.
Okay. All right, so we're looking at a short time period for the permits. So let's say we're looking at October 27th, that's 2 weeks to pull the permits, and January 13th to complete the project, 2022, excuse me.
So moved.
Okay, motion by Mr. Maskey, second by Mr. Dank.
Mr. Maskey,
Yes.
Mr. Bradley, Mr. Dink,
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher.
Yes. Okay, you'll be notified in 2 weeks of this ruling. Okay, we'll go on to, yes, sir. You go on to docket A 5621 3407 East 134th Street.
Application and fees are in order. Notice of violation is exterior maintenance, issued June 30th, 2021. Appeal statement received July 29th, 2021, requesting for time. Present for the hearing, Tom Vanover, Building and Housing. Patricia Ashton Law. With the appellant for docket A 5621. Please state your name for the record.
Nikisha Spencer.
Okay. Solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, preliminarily, my record, this is Patty for the city. I'm showing 2 violation notices, just for clarification, what's before this board. The first one appears to be, although captioned exterior maintenance, it appears to be a rental registration one regarding the registration of a rental unit. And the second one, also captioned in exterior maintenance, is actually exterior maintenance. It appears both were issued on the same date, June 30th, 2021. So it appears violation notice number V21018399 is technically the rental registration notice. So just for clarification of the board's records, thank you.
Okay, very good. Okay, will you hear from the appellant? Go ahead and tell us what your plans are.
I need a little bit more time. I just had a baby and he was premature. And a tenant, I'm trying to get out. The tenants, they bust out the windows in the downstairs unit, and they have not paid rent since the pandemic. And by me having a high-risk pregnancy and having my son early, I haven't been able to go back to work. So I'm just requesting more time so I can do it. I did start the stairs. I did do the stairs in the front porch. I just haven't got the size to replace that gutter and do the back lattices. But her kids are bad. They kicked it out. And she got bad kids. She told me she had 2 kids, but she got 5 kids.
Okay, what about this registering the unit? Has that been taken care of?
Rental registration for that property is registered. I had to send it over to them. My property is registered.
Okay. Let's hear, how much more time do you think you need?
Sir, I would like to have, because there's going to be a process for my property. And then
You want to,
I have
how much time?
I would like to have a year.
A year?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and this is a rental property. Okay, well, let's hear from Mr. Vanover.
I have not made no money off this property.
Okay. We'll hear from Mr. Vanover.
Well, Mr. Chairman, so yeah, we object to a year. This is a rental property. It's an investment property, and it's owned by an LLC.
Mm-hmm.
So we would ask. We don't object to more time, but just judging by the condition, I don't know that this house should, with the windows boarded, and the condition of the property, we don't.
The windows, I cannot pay for the windows or anything. I had a baby. And here it is, by the law with the downtown, they want you to do the lead inspection to be able to put people out. These people have not paid at all. I still did my rental registrations and everything, but they haven't paid or anything. I just still decided to do it just on a simple fact, like I know I'm supposed to register my property every year, but I'm dealing with them. I got to tap everything at one time. You can't do repairs when you got people just vandalizing your property because they kids are people. So I got to be mindful of that. They destroying my property. They breaking into the neighbors' houses and everything.
Well, yeah, we understand that. We understand some of the problems that you have maybe with the neighborhood, but we still have to maintain the home, and so we're going to have to put a time on here.
I've done a couple of things I started asking for already. I'm just asking for more time. I can't go out with a baby and you need to have a job in order to do the repairs. If I don't have a job in order to do the repairs, then I can't pay anybody to do the work. So I do need time regardless. And I have a premature son, so I have to have time.
Okay, you just had the baby?
Yes, I just had my baby.
Okay.
He was by 21st.
Okay.
And he was born early, so he's premature. He's 2 months before time that he was supposed to. So it's a lot of doctor's appointments that I have to go for him to right now, and going back and forth with downtown. I've been downtown the last 2 weeks with him, trying to figure out the new process as far as getting the people out of there and what I got to do. I did my first lead inspection for the property downstairs. That passed, so that's fine. I was able to get them people out. Now I'm working on upstairs, so I'm doing it. It's just I have to do it when I have money. That's the thing.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure how that works out for how the money comes in on these rentals where people are not paying their rent with the COVID.
Yeah, people, okay, like here it is. It's supposed to be funding from CHN, right? They're supposed to help you for not paying their rent. But if the people do not comply and go and fill out the paperwork and respond back to emails or anything, then it doesn't really matter anyway. So you figure March of 2020 to now, that's over $17,000, sir, that could have went inside that property because the inside is beautiful. The problem is the outside. Her kids are bad. But I'm not making any money to do anything to even put it back inside.
Okay, well, Mr. Vanover, you have any other comments on time or?
Mr. Chairman, I do not. I mean, I understand the situation, that the courts and the legislature has put landlords in. It's really, there is no assistance because the tenants have to do it. So, but at the same time, we do have a responsibility to get to keep the house maintained, because again, it's only going to get worse through the winter. So that's all.
Thank you.
We don't object to more time, Mr. Chairman. Use your discretion.
All I can say is you can't keep something maintained if here it is they're destroying. And then they're still trying to petition. They don't even let a lead inspector just went out to the property yesterday, okay? And here it is. They didn't even let her inside the house. What do you do when you got situations where people already know what's going on, so they're not trying to let you in, then you do work, then they tear it back up? If y'all was to come to my property yesterday, this lady got sheets and pillowcases hanging out the window. I called her. I said, hey, can you get your sheets and pillowcases and put them back in the window? And she ignored me and hung up.
Okay.
Well,
you're learning how to go through the process of.
Yeah, I'm making it
so
because I want to do things and do it right.
Right.
By the way, I'm going to need some time. Like, this is a process with these people as far as going back and forth and then making sure you got the money to go ahead and do it to get the repairs done. I don't have a problem with getting repairs done once I go back to work, but I have to make sure that my son that is secure is okay and get these people out. You got to get them out before you can do anything again because it will be a problem. Her kids are bad.
Okay, any recommendations from the board members?
Mr. Chairman, I think that we should give a little bit of time, but we cannot give a lot of time. And if time is not achieved, then we should remand it back to the city and have her work with the city. I concur with Mr. Vanover. This is a business, and we can't control outside elements within her business or within her life, but we cannot have a dilapidated property adjacent to other properties.
Okay, anyone else have a comment? The recommendation, Mr. Maschke, what are you thinking, 6 months? What are we thinking here?
I would say April 1st, 2022 to
All right.
complete the violation.
Okay, so we've got a motion is in order for April 1st, 2022 to complete. Okay, motion by Mr. Bradley, second by Mr. Maschke.
Second.
Yes.
Mr. Maskey,
Yes.
Mr. Bradley,
Yes.
Mr. Dink,
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher.
Yes. Okay, so you will be notified within 2 weeks of our decision here.
Okay.
Okay, good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, we have approval of resolutions, A 4721, 4821, 5021, and 5121. Motion.
So move.
Second.
A motion by Mr. Bradley, second by Mr. Maschke.
Mr. Maskey,
Yes.
Mr. Bradley,
Yes.
Mr. Dink, Mr. Gallagher.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, we have the approval of the minutes. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes?
No.
Okay, motion.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Maschke, and seconded by Mr. Bradley.
Mr. Maskey,
Yes.
Mr. Bradley,
Yes.
Mr. Dink,
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher.
Yes. Okay, if there's no other business to come before us,
No.
all right, hearing none, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Mr. Chairman.
Bye, everyone.
Chairman.
Mr.
Carmelo,
Bradley?
don't talk anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
My internet's messing up, and mine is like 5 seconds behind my picture. See, I'm talking now, but it's not. My picture's not showing the stuff. Is it on yours?
No, you're the only one that's happening to.
Okay.
So we need to get that correct. You need to work